Hi there. I'm Kerry Cradit, and I'm here to talk to you today about the perfect diet. The secondary title on this is spoiler alert, there isn't one perfect diet, but this lecture is designed to give you a lot of information about a lot of different diet opportunities that you might be able to have and try to find the one that's the best fit for you at the right time. So here we go. Thanks for joining me. This lecture is a recorded lecture. I did a live Zoom call and that was not able to be recorded. So this lecture is a recorded version of that Zoom call. So it will be on social media for you to enjoy. I am not a medical doctor. I can't diagnose. I can't make medical recommendations. I can't treat illness. This information is for educational purposes only. It's not intended to be medical advice or recommendations of any kind for you personally. Seek medical advice and see an MD if you're concerned about a medical condition. I am a nutritionist. I make nutrition recommendations that could help your body function better. If your body functions better, then the symptoms you might have will decrease or sometimes go away completely. Whole food nutrition and herbs are a supplement to a healthy diet, not a substitute for medical care. The definition of diet. I have this slide here because so often people think of diet as a temporary thing that they're doing to get a result. That can be true, but really diet, the number one definition is food and drink regularly provided or consumed. So I remind people of that diet should be a lifestyle. Diet should be something you're doing for the long term, and it may change from time to time, but that is a longer term goal, having a healthy diet. Definition B, habitual nourishment. C, the kind and amount of food prescribed for a person or animal for a specific or special reason. And D, a regimen of eating and drinking sparingly so as to reduce one's weight. So you can see, I really like definition A for the lifestyle aspect of it. Your body's nutritional needs can change with activity, seasons, hormonal shifts, illness, stress. This is why there is no one perfect diet. Your needs at any given time could shift and change. A tool or a suggestion is to eat what is in season where you live. So in the fall, as squash and pumpkin and these starchier vegetables come into season, these would absolutely be appropriate here in Michigan. Eat local and organic whenever possible, and go to farm markets, join CSAs, and get shares of animals to get good resources for foods for yourself. I always include, a lot of times include this slide in lectures. This is a slide from Weston A. Price. I like it because it illustrates the products that we often use for, I'm going to say food in our diet, but these are not really foods. These are products. So if you rely on food, like what's in the basket, that's nice and colorful, and not the colorful products that they have down the shelves of the store, you're going to have a much healthier basis and a much healthier body. One of the things we say in this office is a statement: quality plus quantity equals vitality. Quality matters, but quantity matters more. So if you're eating too many carbohydrates, for example, someone eating maybe 200 grams of carbohydrates, those could all be from very healthy sources. It might be that you're eating a lot of fruit in your diet and going up to about 200 grams of carbs. That quantity may just be too much for you. The quality could all be great, but if the quantity is too much, then your health, your vitality will be less. Keep the focus always on nutrient-dense foods, but have to watch your quality and your quantity. I'm going to give you a lot of different resources and some different diets. Each one of these could be a whole lecture topic in and of itself on its own. I'm just going to touch on some basics and let you check out the ones that you might think are most beneficial for you and the best place to start for yourself. This book, The Schwarzbein Principle, this focuses on eating healthy, good fats and proteins and limiting carbohydrates. Most people don't burn more than 72 grams of carbs per day. And using an app like Chronometer to assess your macronutrients, your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fat can help you determine your quantity so that your health can improve. But a great resource, a great book, The Schwarzbein Principle. Another type of diet, paleo, hunter-gatherer diets. The focus here is on healthy foods, not macros. Eliminating foods that have anti-nutrients such as grains that lead to inflammation is a large part of this type of diet. What you do eat on a paleo or hunter-gatherer diet: fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, lean meats, especially grass-fed or wild game, fish and oils from fruits and nuts. And if you are trying to lose weight, fruit does sometimes need to be limited. Avoidance in paleo: grains, legumes, beans, lentils, peanuts, and peas, dairy products, refined sugar, salt, potatoes, and highly processed foods in general. Expanding on this a little bit, the paleo mom, Dr. Sarah Ballantyne, she gives great information on an autoimmune protocol. It expands on it a little bit because she takes out some of the foods, or autoimmune protocol takes out some of the foods that encourage inflammation or improper gut health. So I'm going to read you a little bit of information from her. The autoimmune protocol places greater emphasis on the most nutrient-dense foods in our food supply, including organ meats, seafood, and vegetables. And the autoimmune protocol eliminates foods endorsed by other healthy diets that have compounds that may stimulate the immune system or harm the gut environment, including nightshades like tomatoes and peppers, eggs, nuts and seeds, alcohol. The goal of the autoimmune protocol is to flood the body with nutrients while simultaneously avoiding foods that might contribute to disease, or at the very least, interfering with our efforts to heal. AIP is an elimination diet strategy, cutting out all the foods that are most likely to be holding back our health. And after a period of time, many of the excluded foods, especially those that have nutritional merit, despite also containing some, but not too much, detrimental compounds, can be reintroduced. The AIP is not something that usually needs to be done for a whole life, but rather a toolbox full of strategies for understanding how your body reacts to foods, lifestyle, and your environment, and methodologies for healing, giving your individual health challenges. The source of that is the Paleo Mom. I left it like it was because it was just a great informative couple paragraphs telling people why they might be encouraged or wanting to do an autoimmune diet. Some avoidance foods, if you're doing autoimmune: trans fats, chemical additives, artificial color, high fructose corn syrup, grains, especially wheat, barley, rye, pseudo grains, legumes, dairy products, processed and refined foods of any kind, refined sugars, sugar substitutes, refined vegetable oils, eggs, nightshades, alcohol, coffee, nuts, and seeds are all avoid foods. Nightshades are a specific category of foods, vegetables, tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, sweet and hot peppers, and chili-based spices like paprika. Other nightshades that you may encounter: tobacco, ashwagandha, an herb, goji berries, and pimentos. They all contain compounds that in some people can increase inflammation and affect their gut health. So a good thing to avoid if someone has a little more sensitivity to any of those foods. This is a slide that illustrates some of the substitutions that you can make. If you are avoiding tomatoes, you could do carrots and beets instead. If you're avoiding peppers, you could do celery or squashes instead. Avoiding goji berries, blueberries would be an option. Doing squashes and mushrooms instead of eggplant, all of these are options. So this is a great resource that's right on the Paleo Mom website as well. Whole30. This is another elimination style diet. This is great because it is shorter term elimination. That's a very set amount of time. So people can make a plan, do this diet for 30 days and be able to determine what they may or may not be sensitive to by avoiding so many categories in this diet. So in the Whole30, you don't consume any added sugar, real or artificial, no alcohol, no grains, no legumes, no dairy, no MSG, sulfites, and no recreation of baked goods. You're not making a pancake out of banana and egg when you're doing the Whole30, and you don't weigh yourself for that 30 days so that you can start to appreciate how your body feels with certain foods and the physical changes versus a scale change or a weight change. The Whole30 timeline, the Whole30 timeline is on their website. It illustrates how you might feel at certain times in the Whole30. So it's just a resource so you could kind of see if how you're feeling matches up to how others have felt when they've done it before too. So great resources. I like the Whole30 shopping list because it's looking at the glass half full instead of the glass half empty. So the shopping list is basically these are the foods that you can eat while you're doing this diet. So you can take the list to the store, you can use it as your shopping list, be able to purchase the things that you'll be able to eat and have an easier time incorporating those foods versus this is what I can't eat. It's more, this is what I can eat. The Whole30 does expand into an autoimmune protocol as well. So they also have a shopping list where it takes out those autoimmune foods or the foods that would be eliminated if you're doing an autoimmune diet. So this grays out the eggs, the peppers, things like that. So it's still the same shopping list with some of those food items grayed out. So it's just still an easy resource for doing the Whole30, but incorporating an autoimmune protocol at the same time. Ketogenic diet, keto, as a lot of people say. The purpose of this diet is to get your body burning fat as fuel instead of sugar. That's called ketosis. There are many benefits to ketogenic diet. Studies have shown increased health and prevention of cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. The goal is to be in ketosis on a regular basis. What that means is different for different people. The diet can help reduce glucose and insulin. It is the native state of the human body. Modern science has proven that when your body is burning sugar for fuel, cancer, diabetes, and heart disease genes turn on. When your body burns fat like it's supposed to, then cancer, diabetes, and heart disease genes remain off. Ketosis also has catabolic effects, meaning it breaks down pathological tissue, such as fibroids, cysts, skin tags, fat cells, and some tumors. Not all tumors, but some tumors. And burning sugar is anabolic, which means it builds up these tissues. So I mentioned going in and out of ketosis or being in ketosis on a regular basis. Some people like to be in ketosis for a couple weeks at a time. Some people with a more serious health concern might be in ketosis for over a year. It does depend on the individual situation. So a practitioner could help you more with that. Resources or ketogenic foods, good organic butter. MCT oil is rich in healthy fats. Coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, the nut oils are ketogenic foods. Avocado oil, cod liver oil, lard, heavy whipping cream, but you do have to be careful with not you. Some people have to be careful with dairy sources of ketogenic foods. Not everyone tolerates dairy as well. Coconut meat is a healthy ketogenic food, full fat cheeses, macadamia nuts, olives, tahini, avocado, chia seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. These can all be healthy foods to incorporate on a ketogenic diet. After this lecture, I will be supplying these slides. So I'm not going to just read through this all the way. I'll supply the slides and all the resources will be there. That'll be clickable links for you too. So you can go back, you can look at the slides, and then you can also click on the links and hopefully get to this information really easily. This is a great resource. Dr. Ted Naiman, burnfatnotsugar.com. Great source because lots of meal ideas and explanations of what not to eat and what you should eat. So again, looking at it from different points of view helps give you some information on what you could eat and what you shouldn't eat and the reasons why. Carbs plus fat. This is a combination rarely found in nature. These foods produce dopamine rewards in the brain and highly addictive. You can create obesity in any omnivore mammal with these junk foods. So this would be French fries, pizza, the foods that are high in carbs and high in fat together. So this is a resource from that same website. I just thought a really great indicator or a great visual to show people this is not how you would find things in nature. A squash is just high carb. It's not high carb, moderate carb. There's no fat that comes with it unless we put a little butter on it, which is healthy and makes some of the nutrients in it more bioavailable. But that's not how that food is found in nature. So just a great visual, great resource. This is another resource from that same website, ptoer.com, protein to energy ratio. Some foods will assist or be more helpful when you're trying to lose weight. So they're more in a fat loss category. Some foods like potatoes and grains are more in a fat gain. So you can use this calculator, it is online, and put in the macronutrient content of certain foods or even your day of foods and see if that day or that food was more fat loss versus fat gain. So a really good resource if you play around with this to see how your diet stacks up in relation to what you're trying to accomplish. Another great slide from the same resource and showing in the calculator here where these foods would fall into a fat burn versus a fat loss. So Paleolithic pre-agriculture diets were high in protein and fiber, but more energy constrained. So that is, you're definitely might be losing fat there if that's the type of diet you're eating. During the agricultural revolution, we started to go more to the middle of that graph where it wasn't necessarily fat gain, it wasn't necessarily fat loss. This is when starchier foods came into play. And then by the Industrial Revolution, where we're refining heavily, we're eating more sugar, more flour, more bad oils, then we are more in a fat gain category. So again, all resources from that website that are great. Talking about carnivore diet a little bit, there can be many levels to carnivore. One would be focusing just on animal foods as the majority of the diet, eating small amounts of the least toxic plants. So this would include beef, bison, lamb, poultry, chicken, eggs, and dairy if tolerated, some avocados, olives, lettuce, cucumber, and squash. That version of carnivore is what my husband and I did for about 70 days back in 2019, about 70 days. It was 7 days. We started carnivore with the intention of learning more about it. We set up a plan that we would do 2 weeks of carnivore. By the end of that 2 weeks, we both felt so good that we continued for another 70 days total. So another little bit beyond that too, a lot of it beyond the 2 weeks. It was a great experiment for us. We both lost weight. My husband did run a marathon during that time of eating carnivore very successfully, even at altitude. So it was a very healthy way for him to gain strength and be able to withstand even marathon training and running a marathon during that time. So we had great success with it. More strict would be just meat and water. but that might be missing some basic nutrients. And a basic carnivore diet might be meat, eggs, seafood, and dairy if tolerated. More advanced might add in some organ meats, liver especially. This is a great resource, Dr. Paul Saladino on Carnivore Diet. So again, these resources will be on a page at the end. Another great food diet information resource for you is Dr. Schmidt. So he's got lots of YouTube videos that talk about ketosis, some that talk about carnivore, health in general. So I encourage you to also check out Dr. Schmidt's YouTube channel for more health information as you go forward. Some ideas about what to eat if you're not feeling well. Bone broth, adding in some garlic, apple cider vinegar, coconut water, lemons, limes, oranges, squeeze these into water or just eat them for some vitamin C. Avoiding nuts, oats, corn, dairy, milk especially, and sugar. Milk can make more mucus in the body. So during a time when you're not feeling well, especially if it does have to do with congestion, limiting your milk, and possibly intermittent fasting if you're not feeling well as well. This is the resource sheet that will have all the clickable links so that anything I talked about here, if you want to go back and look at the original source, because I think that's always important to do, you'll be able to view that as well. I appreciate you watching this lecture. If you would like more information on what we do, if you'd like more information on the office, if you'd like a personalized health plan, feel free to reach out to us. Our office information is here, 734-302-7575, or you can email intake@thenhcaa.com. I really appreciate you watching. If this video helped you at all, like and share it on your social media, and I look forward to seeing you or meeting you soon.